peace with harmony. Bring your family and relations where there's peace with harmony. Bring all your family and relations where there's peace with harmony. Bring in the ancestors, all the children we help raise in peace with harmony. Sweet, 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 peace with harmony. Sweet, 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 peace with harmony. Bring your troubles, bring your trials, where there's peace with harmony. Yes, your troubles and your trials, where there's peace with harmony. Bring all your troubles, lay down your trials, where there's peace with harmony. Sweet, 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 peace with harmony. Singing sweet, sweet, sweet peace with harmony. Bring your poems and your songs, where there's peace with harmony. Bring your stories, your poems, your songs with peace with harmony. Bring your dances, your stories, your poems and songs in peace with harmony. Sweet, 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 peace with harmony. Sweet, 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 peace with harmony.
Like the phoenix, we will rise from the smoke screens. Take broken dreams and patch them up with dreams deferred. Dr. King, may he rest in peace. He wasn't the only one whose dream I have heard. Spreading steadily through our consciousness like the wings of a great and endangered bird. In case you haven't heard, we are living into these dreams of rebirth and renewal. A world not maligned by greed, where our children trust again, and we are enough again. And love, abundance, balance are all we know to believe.
Bring your enemies and your fears, where there's peace with harmony. There's room for your enemies and your fears.
Good morning. Good morning, Cedar Lane. Good morning, Cedar Lane. It's a joy to be together and worship today, whether you're here with us in person or joining from home. I'm Reverend Ali Casey Bell. My pronouns are he and they, or you can just use my first name and my title, Reverend Ali. And I'm delighted to welcome you to this time of connection and celebration. I am a dark-skinned black trans man. I'm wearing a blue button-down shirt with long sleeves with a blue and light blue flowered tie and beige pants, black shoes, and a multicolored black flowered stole with black glasses. It is so good to see you. At Cedar Lane, we are a religious community where love works. Yes, it does. We strive to embody beloved community, making space where everyone, regardless of background, beliefs, sexual orientation, gender identity, ability, or documentation status, is welcome to bring their whole self here. If you're new or still feeling new, we'd love to connect with you. You can raise your hand if you'd like, and we'd like to greet you and just say hello. You can introduce yourself in the chat and online. And after the service, if you are new, meet up with us over at the welcome table or in the fellowship hall. We have a little present for you. So we'll just leave it mysterious. You got to come find us if you'd like one. And at Cedar Lane, if you're in the fellowship hall for coffee, yellow means hello. We say hello to you. So if you pick up a yellow coffee cup, we'll come up and talk to you. You don't have to come and try to find us, okay? After the service, we invite you to join us for coffee in the fellowship hall, which is right behind you. And we'll also have some refreshments. It's a great way to meet others and deepen your connections in this vibrant community. And for our newer folks, yellow's hello, and we gather for worship today. Let's embrace this lively, multi-generational spirit of Cedar Lane. Feel free to use creative listening materials and stay engaged throughout the service. And they're not just for children, just so you know. I usually have one in my pocket. You can get them right behind the glass that's right in the lobby. And if you need a listening ear or some extra support, our caring ministry team is here to support you. And our person that you can reach out to today is Carol Rogentine. And Carol is standing right there. Say hello, Carol, in the purple shirt. Carol is great. Now, in this spirit of love and community, let's take a moment to greet one another and turn to your neighbor and share a warm hello.
So I invite you to join me in singing Where Do We Come From? It's number 1003. If you happen to have this one, but your words hopefully will be up on the screen at some point. And we'll repeat each line. Can we get the words? Or you can just hear me. So the tune goes like this. You repeat each line. Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Second part. Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Mystery. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Here's the last one. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Let's start on this side. Where do we come from? What are we? What are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we? I'll lead you. Our turn. Lead the other side. Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Mystery, mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. This one. Where do we mystery? Life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we mystery? Life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we? Let's end on mystery. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, life is a riddle. Let's end on mystery. Everyone. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery.
Together, that's awesome. We gather today in worship on this beautiful fall day as the crisp air reminds us of the changing season.
While we bask in the warmth and beauty of this moment, our hearts reach out to our southern neighbors facing the aftermath of recent storms.
We gather with open hearts and minds, ready to reflect, to honor, and to commit ourselves to serving a world in need.
Mindful that we share this world, though we each approach it uniquely, let us renew our commitment to honesty, deep listening, and compassion.
May we grow in gratitude and awareness, embodying justice and peace that holds all people everywhere in love.
Let us begin this sacred time together. Hello, I'm Ezra Towne, your worship associate this morning, and my pronouns are they, them. I'm a white, transgender, non-binary person with brown hair and wearing, I guess they're cranberry, wearing cranberry glasses, and I'm dressed in a teal and blue striped shirt and blue jeans today. In our Unitarian Universalist tradition, we light a chalice as a symbol of our shared faith and community. As Board President John Dunn and President-elect Carolyn Morrissey kindle the chalice, where they coming?
I invite you to share in the chat where you are lighting your chalice from. Please rise in body and or in spirit and join me in the chalice lighting words. We light this chalice as a symbol of our shared commitment to be a religious community where love works, where we explore the eternal mysteries of life, nurture community with compassion and care, and strive to build a more just world. Together, may we embody the spirit of beloved community, guided by love, justice, and the values we uphold together.
Just as the flame of this chalice represents the light we create together today, we joyfully welcome new members who bring their own light into this congregation. Becoming a new member of Unitarian Universalist community is a sacred commitment. It means joining our collective search for truth, grounding yourself in shared values, and supporting the mission of this congregation.
Now you might wonder, what does membership give you? As my colleague, the Reverend Fred Small, puts it, you get a free wedding most of us don't need. And a free memorial service we don't want anytime soon. You can use the building at a deep discount for your family events. And if you have made a financial contribution to support the mission and ministry of this congregation, you can vote at our annual meetings and even serve on the board. Woo-hoo! Right.
But membership is more than benefits. It's a deeper commitment. It connects us to a legacy of religious freedom and progressive values, offering space to explore life's questions, grow spiritually, and build a caring community, a community that supports us in need and celebrates with us in joy.
Membership calls us to live out our shared values of love, justice, and equity, continuing the work of those who came before us. It is a commitment to a journey of truth and meaning, grounded in collective values and sustained by our presence, our energy, and our generosity.
Hello, I'm Nicole Singer, Membership and Faith Formation Coordinator. My pronouns are she, her. Today we are honored to welcome our new members. By joining, you commit to living Cedar Lane's mission, sharing your gifts, and receiving the love and support of this community. As I call your name, please come forward. Noni Alexander, Jane Corona, Sherry Bortnick, Joe Puzo, and Mike Tingale, Jenny and Greg Robertson, Joanna and Michael Cobran, Sanjay and Kelly Telu, and Allie Richards.
Just sign your name and we can fill it.
We also honor the following individuals who joined our community since the last recognition, but were not present here today. Joanne Ometz and Beth Brofman. For those of you here, I now invite you to come forward and sign the membership book if anyone else would like to join today, joining this beloved community.
Going once, going twice.
Okay, everyone else, I know a lot of you are already members. Thank you, thank you. So, yes, here.
Okay, sure, thanks. Is there one more rose we need here? Thank you. Okay. Good morning. I'm Janamanchi, a member of the Cedar Lane membership team. My pronouns are she, her. Let me share with you some of the beautiful stories our new members told us about their spiritual journeys and what brought them to this community. Many of our new members have been on a search for a spiritual home that fully embraces and affirms their authentic selves. For some, this journey has been about finding a place where their personal beliefs align with shared values, after experiences where that wasn't always the case. For example, one couple who had been part of a Unitarian Universalist community for over 20 years were among the first same-gender couples to marry in the United States after Massachusetts legalized it. After relocating to Bethesda, they found Cedar Lane, where they immediately felt at home in our inclusive and loving community. Others are seeking a religious community that can support their interfaith family and provide a foundation of spiritual education for their children. They are looking for a place where their children can grow up in a loving, inclusive environment that honors the diversity of religious practices and values. Others find the holy in different and beautiful ways, through meaningful relationships, shared commitments, and the support they've experienced in a Unitarian Universalist space. One new member shared how a deeper connection with God has guided them over the years, while another has spent a lifetime exploring spirituality and different religious traditions. Still, others find sacredness in the act of gathering together, building community, and sharing values that resonate deeply. Our new members are eager to engage with Cedar Lane through worship, religious education, community building, soul circles, and by being part of a congregation that lives out its values. They're excited to grow alongside us, to build meaningful friendships, and to help shape the future of this congregation as they continue their spiritual journeys in a place they now call home. Each of their stories reflects the diversity and richness of experience that Cedar Lane celebrates, and we are so grateful to welcome them into our community.
Now I invite our new members to share the new member affirmation. All righty.
Pledging to support and participate in the mission and ministries of this congregation. We covenant to join you in a common quest for spiritual understanding and for the co-creation of the beloved community. We seek your welcome as we embark on this shared journey.
Excellent.
Welcome. On behalf of all of Cedar Lane, I warmly welcome you into membership. We rejoice in your decision to join us and look forward to the gifts you will bring to our collective life. Ours is a free faith with no creeds or required beliefs. You are invited to bring your ideas and experiences, contributing to the richness of our shared search for truth and meaning.
And the congregation says,
We welcome you with open hearts, as we ourselves were once welcomed. We hope that you will find here a community where you can grow and thrive in mind, body, and spirit. We accept you as companions on this journey and covenant to support you in times of joy and sorrow. Together, we co-create the beloved community and share the blessings of our free faith.
thank you, and welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome. You may be seated.
are blessed with love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our hearts stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
As we enter this sacred time of sharing joys and sorrows, let's pause, take a deep breath, and ground ourselves in the present moment. With open hearts, we welcome the fullness of human experience, joys, challenges, grief, and hope, knowing that in this shared community, none of us journeys alone. Within our Cedar Lane community, we are holding Usha Charya's granddaughter Anjali in our hearts, sending her healing wishes as she recovers in the hospital. We extend our heartfelt condolences to Lisa, Todd, and Aiden Chernikoff as they grieve the passing of Lisa's uncle, Gilbert Brinkerhoff, in Massachusetts on October 5th. We also offer our sympathy to Jennifer Robertson and her family as they mourn the loss of her mother, Lynn Sharon Blood, on September 7th, following a stroke. We hold in our thoughts all those in our community who are facing the challenges of COVID-19, wishing them a swift and full recovery. As we widen our circle of concern, we hold in our thoughts all those affected by violence, war, natural disasters, and the ongoing climate crises, both in our nation and across the globe. We also reach out in compassion to our southern neighbors who are facing the aftermath of recent storms. May we hold them and all who are suffering close to our hearts. As we mark the first anniversary of the October 7th attacks, we grieve the ongoing devastation in Gaza, Israel, Lebanon, and Yemen. We pray for an immediate and lasting ceasefire in Gaza, for the release of all captives, and for the swift and unhindered delivery of life-saving humanitarian aid to those in desperate need. As we close this time of sharing, I invite you to light a candle, a symbol to honor the joys and sorrows in your life, to bring them into the light, and to hold them with our shared community. Please feel free to come forward and light a candle as we share this sacred time together.
Let us now center ourselves in a spirit of prayer and reflection in this space made sacred by our presence and the presence of the holy. As we hold in our hearts all the joys and sorrows spoken and unspoken, let us open ourselves to the sacredness of this moment, allowing the spirit of love, compassion, and healing to flow through us. May we enter this time of litany with reverence, holding all that has been lost and all that we hope to create.
For vibrant lives suddenly sacrificed, we lift up our loss. For the lives that continue, haunted by the pain of absence, we lift up the ashes of our remorse.
For the images forever seared into our memories, we lift up the ashes of our pain. For the charred visions of peace and the dry taste of fear, we lift up the ashes of our grief.
For all destroyed in the fire of anger, we lift up the ashes of our disillusionment. For deaths justified by arrogant patriotism or fanatic faith, we lift up the ashes of our shame. As we cast these ashes into the troubled waters of our time, O Spirit among us, beyond us, and within us, hear our plea. May these ashes make fertile the soil of our future, and by your mercy, may they nourish seeds of loving kindness.
For the ways humanity pursues violence, not understanding, we lift up the stones of our anger. For the ethnic, religious, and national boundaries to our compassion, we lift up the stones of our fear. For the ways we cast blame and create enemies, we lift up the stones of our self-righteousness, dissolving the ashes of our grief and the hardness of our hearts. Our cleansing waters wash us all toward justice and peace.
O cleansing waters, wash us all toward justice and peace. In the name of all that is holy and life-affirming and life-sustaining, we say, Shalom, Salam, Om Shanti, Amen, Ashe, blessed be.
As we enter the silence together, please rise in body or spirit and speak the names of those you hold in remembrance, or share their names in the chat.
Speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me, oh my soul. Let's dance. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul.
Good morning. My name is Andrew Batcher. I am the Social Justice Coordinator at Cedar Lane. I use he or they pronouns. I am a non-binary, bald, with a beard person wearing a blue shirt. Now is the moment in our service when we come together to offer our gifts in support of our shared mission. The offering is not just a collection, it is a tangible expression of our community commitment to the values that we hold dear. Through our generosity, we strengthen Cedar Lane's mission and extend our impact beyond our walls. Today, as we gather in gratitude, our hearts are also with those affected by the devastation caused by Hurricane Helene in the southeastern United States. Many Unitarian Universalist congregations have been severely impacted, and others are still assessing the full extent of the damage. In response, our offering will support the UUA's Disaster Relief Fund, which provides critical aid to these communities in their time of need right now. Your contribution to the Disaster Relief Fund will become direct grants to help Unitarian Universalists, their congregations, and the wider community recover and rebuild. This is an urgent moment for action, but your support, whether today or in the coming months, will make a profound difference in the lives of those affected. In particular, we hold our hearts with those in the LGBTQIA+ and BIPOC communities who are often the most vulnerable and least supported in times of crisis. Your generosity today is a beacon of hope and resilience for all who are struggling to rebuild their lives. You can give online, by text, or by mailing a check, or by placing your gift in the offering plate. Every contribution, no matter the size, makes a meaningful impact, helping us live out our values of love and justice, both here at Cedar Lane and in the world beyond. Thank you for your generosity and for standing with those in need during these challenging times. The collection today, all of it is going to the UUA Disaster Relief Fund. Together, we can help bring healing and recovering to our siblings in the Southeast. The offering will now be given and gratefully received.
I can change the world with my own two hands, make a better place with my own two hands, my own two hands, with my own two hands. I can make peace on earth with my own two hands. I can clean up the earth with my own two hands. I can reach out to you with my own two hands, with my own two hands, with my own two hands. I'm gonna make a brighter place with my own two hands. I'm gonna make a safer place with my own two hands. I'm gonna help the human race with my own two hands, with my own two hands, with my own two hands. I can hold you in my own two hands, and I can comfort you with my own two hands. But you got to use your own two hands. Use your own two hands. Use your own hands. With our own two hands. With our own two hands. With my own two hands.
Thank you, Travis. I need like a moment to compose myself now. I'm not joking. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Kimberly Clarkson. I use she, her pronouns. I am a white woman with long brown hair and a ponytail. I'm wearing light green pants and a white shirt with very thin black and gray stripes. I am standing here this morning feeling every bit of my age, especially after a week of teaching math to 6th graders, coordinating volunteers for last night's homecoming dance at my son Wilkie's High School, continuing work as one of the co-chairs of our Special Initiatives Fund Committee, and trying to squeeze in time for my actual family on top of all of that. I did manage to squeeze in a date afternoon with my husband Blair yesterday at the David Underwood concert. Thank you, Reverend Ali. Thank you. So I have been a part of Cedar Lane since before I can remember. I have spent decades running through these hallways. Not exactly these ones, shout out to the generosity and renovation teams. I grew up in our child and youth programs, while my parents dedicated countless volunteer hours to Cedar Lane. I stood on this stage 36 years ago to share my own credo as part of the Growing Up Year class, and 30 years ago as I bridged to adulthood at the end of high school. Later, I volunteered in these same child and teen programs and have watched my own kids experience them. I stood here 23 years ago during my father's memorial service, 13 years ago for the dedication of my own children, and 3 years ago as my daughter Maggie participated in the coming of age service. Cedar Lane has been a constant through every season of my life, always present and always essential. That said, especially as we're welcoming new members today, we're not the Cedar Lane of the 80s anymore, any more than I am the impulsive 5-year-old or blonde buzz cut wearing young adult who once ran these halls. And that's okay. Times change. But the core of who we are, a community committed to exploring the eternal, nurturing each other, and building a more just world, remains constant. Embracing this evolution while holding on to our essential values can be challenging, especially for you long-term members like me who hold dear the memories of our past incarnations. As hard as it may be, we need to lean into growth. We must evolve to meet the needs of today's world and community, which are vastly different than those of 20 and 40 years ago. In recent months, I've noticed a subtle shift in some of our interactions. It feels like we've moved a little bit towards more transactional exchanges, sometimes forgetting to acknowledge each other's humanity, our innate imperfections, and our shared need for grace. Love is at the center of our mission, and love requires constant nurturing. It asks us to see beyond surface-level interactions, to recognize the divine spark in each person we encounter. It calls us to be a respite from and a counterbalance to the swirling confusion, chaos, and conflict of the world around us. Today, I'm asking all of us, including myself, to reflect and consider a reset in how we approach expectations and relationship building, to find more grace. We are all deeply invested in making Cedar Lane a place where love works. It is in our mission. And holding and sustaining love and grace with each other requires ongoing effort. It asks us to remember that each person is on their own journey, carrying their own burdens, and doing the best they can with what they have. We need to look beyond the surface, beyond the tired eyes of a fellow volunteer, beyond the frustration of struggling with a program schedule, beyond the resistance to necessary changes. Cedar Lane has shaped me profoundly, teaching me to approach life with an open heart and mind, with a commitment to fighting injustice. It influences how I interact with others, how I parent, how I view societal issues, and how I strive to make a positive impact in the world. As I look to Cedar Lane's future, I hope we stay deeply focused on our core values, that we be a community where interactions are supportive, where we recognize each other as imperfect, yet worthy of love and grace, where disagreements do not lead to disconnection, and where we challenge each other to grow while still offering unwavering support. I believe we can be a Cedar Lane where our commitment to justice extends beyond our walls, where we engage in difficult conversations with love, patience, and respect, and where we recognize that we are all working towards sustaining this place that we care so deeply about. As we look forward to our future and who we want to be over the next 40 years, let's start with ourselves. Let us pause before reacting, listen more than we speak, and remember that behind every face is a story we might not know. Let us actively look for the humanity in every person we encounter and offer grace as generously as we would want it extended to us after a long day of volunteering, parenting, or work. This is how we embody our mission. This is how we create beloved community. And this is how love truly works.
The world keeps on spinning, can't stop it if you try to. The best part is danger staring you in the face. Oh, listen as your day unfolds. Challenge what the future holds. Try to keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. My, oh my, hey, hey, hey. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know is love will save the day. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know is love will save the day. You got to be bold, you got to be bad, you got to be wise, do what others say. You got to be hard, but not too hard. All I know is love will save the day. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know is love will save the day.
All right, thank you, Rachel, Jasmine, Jeff, and Chris for that wonderful rendition of You Gotta Be. Woo! It's reminding us of the strength, the love, and the resilience we bring to this community. Thank you, thank you. And thank you, Kimberly, for your powerful affirmation. Woo! Reminding us that we're all part of this community, connected not just by shared memories and spaces, but also by a shared mission. You know, like you, I've been thinking lately a lot about who we are as a congregation and the importance of our mission. And I've been reflecting on our vision and mission statement, just noticing how beautifully all its phrases kind of flow together into this cohesive, elegant whole. And I still remember the deep pride I felt when our former UUA moderator, Ginny Quarter, read it for the first time. She was so impressed with it, telling me it was one of the best mission statements she had ever encountered. And in her role, she had encountered quite a few. So our vision and mission, to be a religious community where love works, where we explore the eternal nurture community and build a more just world, and dare to embody beloved community, is more than just a statement. It is a call to action because it asks something of each of us. You know, Kimberly, you shared that Cedar Lane has been a constant in your life, a reminder of the enduring role this community plays for so many of us. But for that love to remain constant, it doesn't just happen on autopilot. You see, love requires attention, care, intention. To make love work, we have to work at it. Now, Kimberly, I'm sorry, I kind of keep quoting you, but you had so many good things to say. It kind of became the sacred text for this service. So, one of the things you also invited us, I did warn you, I told you I'm putting you on the spot today. So, you also invited us to reset. I love that word, reset. To step back and to give each other more grace and to build relationships within our beloved community. And this echoes beautifully with the larger conversation that the board is going to be leading, helping us enter into what is being called our Living the Mission process this year. You'll hear more details as the weeks pass, but this process will invite us to reflect not just on what we do as a congregation, but who we are, whose we are, what we are. How open are we to life's gifts? How are we serving needs greater than ours? What is love calling us to be and do in this world at this time? And what role does Cedar Lane play in that? These are some of the questions that will challenge us to live our mission in practical ways. Because it's about more than just being good people with good intentions. It's about asking ourselves what kind of community we want to create and what future we hope to build together. And it's about having the courage to confront the challenges and the injustices in our world with honesty and integrity. Now, this process of self-reflection and engagement reminds me of the work of Mary Daly, a radical feminist theologian who pushed boundaries and challenged the systems of power around her. How many of you read Mary Daly? All right, good. I'm not the only one. That's good. If you haven't read Mary Daly, do. Yep. You see, Daly's books were really alive in the 90s when I was in seminary. And we all read them. And some of us trembled as we did. And they made a lot of men really mad. They did. And some women too. Her language was a form of fury. Fury. She wasn't afraid to push us out of our comfort zones because she knew that growth required it. And like many powerful figures, she attracted her share of criticism. Right, Jenny? Yep. Some claim that she refused to engage with men altogether because she was a man-hater, or that she only taught women's philosophy. Now, those claims were exaggerated. They were actually lies. But there's no denying that Daly was radical in her approach. She unapologetically challenged the patriarchal systems around her, and her fierce clarity often made people deeply uncomfortable. Yet, she remained steadfast in her purpose, convinced that real transformative learning required challenging the status quo and engaging in deep experiential reflection. And she never claimed to have all the answers. In fact, she openly acknowledged that some of the statistics in her seminal work, Gynecology, were flawed, encouraging others to use her work as a foundation for their own exploration. She famously said, "My intention in writing Gynecology for it to be a springboard. And instead I get, you didn't do it perfectly. There's something wrong with what you did. Oh, go to hell. It's just a springboard. You carry on when you have more knowledge." You see, Daly's point was clear. She wasn't asking anyone to accept her words as final, or authoritative or somehow that she had the copyright. Rather, she urged each person to figure out for themselves that everyone had to engage in their own process of discovery, of experimenting with the truth, as Mahatma Gandhi said, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said, that echoed this approach, emphasizing the importance of seeking and experimenting with truth rather than relying on the claims of any single authority. Now, this idea of personal responsibility in seeking truth connects well with what Ta-Nehisi Coates says about writing. Coates views writing as a way to confront difficult truths. He describes it as wrestling with the world as it is, not as we wish it to be, while still believing that through this struggle we might discover something more true, more just. His writing challenges others to ask questions, to think critically, and engage deeply with the world. In many ways, Coates' approach to writing mirrors a form of spiritual discipline, a spiritual practice, a continuous inquiry into the nature of truth, justice, and community. You know, one of our UU principles would say a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. That's what Coates' writing points us to. And this call for inquiry from both Daly and Coates highlights the essence of living our mission. Because living our mission isn't passive. It demands that we lean into discomfort and growth. Because transformation, which is another UU value, requires stepping outside of our comfort zones and questioning deeply held assumptions, deeply cherished traditions and beliefs. Now, I remember experiencing this discomfort firsthand at a workshop many years ago. I don't recall the exact topic, this was early in my ministry, just that it seemed like the most interesting session to attend that hour. So I showed up, walked in with plenty of ideas, and I quickly realized I was the only male presenting person in that room. And a female presenter shared some thoughts for about 15 minutes, and then opened the floor up for discussion. Now, as soon as this conversation began, I felt the urge to speak. Wisdom to offer. Clever quotes to share. But then, for some reason, I thought of Mary Daly. And I decided to experiment with one of her approaches. So instead of jumping right in, I made a conscious choice that day to stay silent and let others speak. So I sat quietly in the back of the room, trying to make myself as invisible as possible. And every time someone spoke, I could feel a response forming in my head. Clever rejoinders, some decisive questions, but I had to bite my tongue. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy. You see, as Reverend Abhi Janamanchi, as a cisgender man, I was so used to taking part in discussions that remaining silent felt unnatural, almost like resisting a reflex. But I kept asking myself, every time a thought formed and my mouth started to open, I asked myself, why do I feel the need to speak? Why? So I stayed silent for the full hour and 15 minutes of that workshop, and by the end, I think I might have sprained my tongue. But I also learned something that day. Mary Daly was not a monster for keeping men out of a classroom where a particular subject was being discussed. She understood something profound about the unconscious ways in which we take up room. The way certain voices, especially men's voices, often dominate discussions without even realizing it. That lesson on silence and listening resonates with what Kimberly shared today about how we interact within this community. So if we are to live our mission of co-creating the beloved community, we must make space, make room for one another, especially for those who feel silenced or unseen, and learn that fragile art of listening deeply. Only then can we truly embody the values of love, justice, and equity that our mission calls us to live. Now, this same principle applies when we think about the broader systems of injustice and oppression in our world. Just as we are called to listen and make space within our own community, we're also called to widen our lens and confront the injustices happening beyond our walls. In his latest book, The Message, Ta-Nehisi Coates reflects on how racism, colonialism, and systemic oppression devastate communities globally. His observations on the Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories are particularly striking as he calls out the situation for what it is, apartheid. Coates critiques how the media often elevates complexity over justice, using intellectual debate to downplay or ignore the blatant human rights abuses Palestinians face, effectively masking the oppression under layers of discussion. He makes it clear that the oppression of Palestinians is not an isolated issue that's happening over there. It's part of a broader system of global white supremacy, echoing the racial injustices Black Americans have faced for centuries in this country. So he challenges us to open our eyes to these interconnected struggles and urges us to recognize that the fight for justice in Palestine or Senegal and Black America is all connected. And through his stories, he reminds us that justice often begins with the courage to speak uncomfortable truths and to imagine new possibilities, even when it disrupts the status quo. Now, one story from The Message stands out. It's about a high school teacher in Chapin, South Carolina, who risked her career to keep teaching Coates' book Between the World and Me, despite pushback from her community. The local school board and many parents wanted the book banned because it tackled themes of racism and oppression, topics they found too controversial or uncomfortable. Yet this teacher persisted. Even with serious opposition, she believed in the power of the book and the critical conversations it sparked. Her story illustrates the courage it takes to challenge the status quo and to lean into discomfort for the sake of justice. It reminds us that rising up for what's right often requires risk, whether it's risking our comfort or our privilege or our relationships or even our security and safety. And this is exactly the call before us. Just as this teacher took a stand, we are called to live our mission courageously, not just within the safe confines of our beloved congregation, but out in the world where the stakes are even higher. So living our mission means more than just reciting or reflecting on it in this space. It requires us to make room for difficult conversations and to confront injustices around us with honesty and integrity. Whether in our interactions with one another in the broader struggle for justice, we are called to act with courage, to listen deeply and imagine new possibilities for creating a more just and loving world. Kimberly captured this beautifully when she reminded us this is how we embody our mission. This is how we create beloved community. This is how love works. So, let us be brave enough to listen to the hard questions. Let us open our hearts to one another in deeper ways. Let us strive to be a community where love truly works, not just in words, but in action. And let's hold on to the words of Adrienne Rich, words that call us into the work of healing and rebuilding. My heart is moved by all that I cannot save. So much has been destroyed. I have to cast my lot with those who age after age perversely, with no extraordinary power, reconstitute the world. May it be so. Amen. Please rise in body and or in spirit to sing You Got to Say or You Got to Do when the Spirit says do.
Got to do when the Spirit says do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you got to do. Lord, you got to do when the Spirit says do. 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 You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you got to sing, oh Lord. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. 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 You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you got to dance. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. 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 Spirit says shout when the Spirit says shout. You got to shout when the Spirit says shout. When the Spirit says down, you got to shout. You got to shout when the Spirit says shout. So shout. Shout. Spirit says 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 shout. Got to do, Lord, you got to do when the Spirit says do. 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 Spirit says do.
Unity Universalists are God's frozen people.
Frozen chosen, that's what they told me.
No,
Not here.
they haven't been to Cedar Lane.
They have not. I hear you got to do when the Spirit says do.
You bet.
So when the Spirit says move, I guess we're called to respond to action. And this is a call to action, right?
You bet.
So in that spirit, we're going to have our announcements, which are not just updates, but they are invitations to engage. So take out what you need to write down this stuff, or remember to go online to Cedar Lane's website to find out what you need to do to live our values and to put our mission into practice. And listen with open hearts and a readiness to do, to act.
Indeed.
Yes.
So, newcomers and new members, you're invited to a luncheon today after the service in the Chalice House. It's a chance to connect, meet others, learn more about Cedar Lane, and ask any questions you may have. And if it is your first visit or you've been visiting for a while, we really look forward to meeting you today in the Chalice House after the service.
But don't forget to get your...
You go straight through the walkway and follow Reverend Ali, who will lead you to it.
And don't forget to get a piece of cake and some coffee, and ask anyone in the fellowship hall, and they will point you to the Chalice House. Or you can just, what? It's the little house on the hill, I hear.
That's right.
Little house on the hill. And I have some exciting news. Hey, so what you doing this Wednesday? Because this Wednesday here at Cedar Lane from about 5:30 to 7:30, we are having our first Welcome Wednesday in the fellowship hall, which is right behind you. And it's a casual potluck dinner. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to gather for food and fun and connection, super low key. There's going to be optional activities. Did you hear me say optional? So nobody's going to pressure you to do it. There's going to be getting to know you Q&As. There are going to be team buildings, crafts. We'll have deep dive questions, and there will be food. And then if you've ever been interested in maybe like checking out the choir, like, it happens right after this event. So you'll get to meet some choir members maybe around 6:30 when they come in to have some food. It's super set up for you to get to know more about Cedar Lane without a lot of pressure. So you should come, because it's going to be fun. So you can sign up at tinyurl.com/CLUU welcome. It's this Wednesday. When is it? Awesome. Or you can check out the table and you'll find out more about it this Wednesday.
All right. AIM, Action in Montgomery, is hosting an event on Tuesday, October 15th at Colesville United Methodist Church in Silver Spring from 7 to 9 p.m. The focus will be on forging our future with County Executive Mark Eldridge and other officials. And they'll be advocating for climate justice, pre-K expansion, affordable housing, equitable health care, and also gathering together to be in community to make Montgomery County a welcoming community for all people. And if you need more information, please stop by the fellowship hall. Let's show up strong. Our goal is to get at least 15 Cedar Laners and make a difference.
Yeah. And did you know that Cedar Lane is one of the most multicultural UU congregations?
No.
You didn't know?
No, I didn't know that.
Look around.
You know, when you're in it, it's hard to see.
It's hard to see. But once you leave and go somewhere else.
Right.
Just saying. So that's why we were asked in our beautiful new building to host the Mosaic Conference for Belonging and Liberation. And it's happening. It's kind of a big deal. It's happening October 17th here, the 17th through the 20th, here at Cedar Lane. This is a powerful opportunity for those committed to dismantling racism and oppression. And if you've been involved with the 8th principle, it's a great chance to deepen your engagement. Financial support is available with priority given to BIPOC participants. This is like a national thing. This is a UUA thing, and it's happening here. So show up, will you? Thank you.
And last but not least, please mark your calendars for the Cedar Lane Leadership Retreat on Saturday, October 26th from 9 to noon. And this retreat will be a vital opportunity for all ministry teams, board committees, and aspiring leaders to reflect on our shared work and really dive into our Living the Mission conversations. We look forward to seeing many of you there.
Yes. So as we come to the close of our time together, let's take a deep breath and reflect on the work ahead. We've heard important ways we're called to live our mission. Now, as we prepare to leave, let's ground ourselves with these powerful closing words by Aurora Levins Morales, reminding us that the work of peace and healing isn't something we wait for. It's ours to embrace.
Last night, I dreamed 10,000 grandmothers from the 1,200 corners of the earth walked out into the gap, one breath deep, between the bullet and the flesh, between the bomb and the family. They told me we cannot wait for governments. There are no peacekeepers boarding planes. There are no leaders who dare to say every life is precious. So it will have to be us. They said we will cup our hands around each heart. We will sing the earth's song, the song of water, a song so beautiful that vengeance will turn to weeping. The mourners will embrace and grief replace every impulse toward harm. 10,000 is not enough, they said, so we have sent this dream like a flock of doves into the sleep of the world. Wake up. Put on your shoes. You who are hearing this, I am bringing bandages and a bag of scented guavas from my trees. I think I remember the tune, Meet Me at the Corner. Let's go.
What would you think if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with little help from my friends. I get high with little help from my friends. Try with little help from my friends. What do I do when my love is away? How do I feel at the end of the day?
Are you sad because you're on your own?
No, I get high
with a little help from my friends. Oh,
I get high
with a little help from my friends. Oh,
I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I need somebody to love. Could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. Would you believe in love at first sight? Yes, I'm certain that it happens all the time. What do you see when you turn out the light? I can't tell you, but I know it's mine. Oh, I get high with little help from my friends. Oh, I get high with little help from my friends. Oh, I'm gonna try with little help from my friends. Do you need anybody? I need somebody to love. Could it be anybody? Now you fully sing. Oh, I get by with little help from my friends. Oh, I get high with little help from my friends. Try. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. Yes, I get high with little help from my friends. Help from my friends. Woo! You. The Cedar Lane House Band, everybody.